George Bloom here.
Bobby Tighe.
We're here today at the Atrium Realty podcast, and today we're going to talk about our referrals and our CRM and how we best service our clients. So let's get started, Bobby. When you're getting referrals, and before we jump into how you're getting them, we're getting referrals from a lot of different sources here, but our main source is Veterans United. And just wanted to jump in and ask Bobby a few questions on how he's getting those referrals and how he's working those to ensure he's best to convert those into a deal.
Yeah, absolutely, George. So when it comes to referrals, I obviously, just like you mentioned, get referrals in a couple different ways. Some are through Veterans United, some are through self-gen, some are through customers of other customers. So basically, once I get those customers, I'm putting them into essentially two CRMs, one being Follow-Up Boss, one being the MLS. I personally prefer right now the MLS, but obviously been shifting a lot more towards Follow-Up Boss over the previous couple weeks. I think some of my favorite things about the MLS, quote-unquote CRM, is how easy and simple it is to set clients up on different types of searches and subscriptions. And this provides tremendous value to the clients because essentially, as soon as I make contact with that client, we have a really good conversation, and then I begin sending them properties. And usually I have it set to 2 times per week. The client is going to get an email from me, not directly from me, but from the MLS system, and it's going to show them 20 or 30 properties that's available in the market that matches up with the criteria of the house that they're actually looking for. And that next email that comes out to them during the week will either remove listings that have sold, or it's going to send them new listings that have come to the market. This will go on every single week. So essentially now my customers are getting constant market updates for the criteria that they're looking for. And something that's actually pretty funny is I was in the barbershop the other day and set somebody up at the barbershop on some searches. And, it was just 2 times per week. He's getting search listings sent for me on the exact condos that he's looking for. He goes back into the barbershop probably 3 or 4 weeks later and tells the owner of the barbershop, hey, man, I really like that guy, Bobby, that you set me up with. He's always sending me listings on the market, really
Nice.
thinking that it's me that's sending him these listings. And, I'm very transparent with people that I'm setting them up on searches,
Right.
and that it's going to be automated searches. But people just tend to always think that it's you sending them those emails there. So
Right.
that's just one example of how, when you're utilizing a CRM, you can really connect in with your customers, and they're going to be at their house. It's going to be after work. They're going to be at home with their family. They're going to be getting those search results and those subscriptions that you set them up with. And they're going to be really excited. They're going to feel that connection with you. You're going to go out on the weekends and actually show them those houses, sell them those properties, and you're going to be in a really good spot as a real estate agent.
Yeah, 100%. So why I really love the MLS and want to just encourage and make sure all of us are getting set up on the MLS is that, the majority of the time we're making contact with the client previously to actually, setting them up on MLS and all that. However, those tough clients we can't get a hold of, we can't reach, we've emailed, no response. We always like to make sure we're getting them set up on the MLS. So they're getting properties, they may not respond. We're going to see when they open those property searches in that portal. So that gives us an indication that, hey, you know what? They're actually looking at this property. I still haven't got a response, but the last 3 emails they opened and the properties they
Right.
actually saved, and they're looking at that content. So that's going to give us a good indication. Hey, you know what? We might want to email them this property in a PDF with a little CMA and an outline. Just another way to get our foot in the door and attempt to make that contact with that client. So I
Yeah.
think that strategy is great.
Yeah, ultimately, the other thing that's really nice about MLS and Follow-Up Boss is you can track the activity of your customers or your prospect. So if I see somebody is really in the MLS or Follow-Up Boss looking at a specific search that I've set them up on, and they've looked at a house, the same house, like 10 different times, that weekend I might go out and make a video for that customer on that specific house, do a full walkthrough video, upload it to YouTube, send it to them, and quite often the customer gets really excited and motivated, and then the following weekend we'll go look at it, and ultimately they might buy that, or I might go show them another 3, 4, 5, 6 houses and they'll buy one of them. But it's very important, to your point, of being able to observe activity of prospects, because some people are a little shy and they're
Right.
not going to be like, hey, George, take me to see this house this weekend. But if you're observing them and they're actively looking at the emails, they're looking at specific houses, chances are they want to go see that. You just might be the one that has to nudge them to go look at the house there.
Right. And then getting in front of those clients to build that rapport. It might not be that house, but by sending them that video, it gains their interest, gets them moving, gets their mind thinking, oh, let's actually maybe go look at a few things. Building rapport on the phone, through videos, through email, it's okay. But getting in front of that client face to face is going to be the biggest things to actually build that rapport and that relationship with that client to get going. So, like Bobby said, sending those videos, even if the client is non-responsive and you see 20 saves on one property, you're going to want to make sure you're getting out there and making those videos, sending those photos to that client via text message, email, sending the YouTube link. I know you're heavy on YouTube, Bobby, which is awesome. And then just, getting your foot in the door to actually get a chance to build that rapport and that relationship with that client.
I 100% agree. The text messages, the phone calls are definitely crucial. You got to be doing both of them there. But ultimately, it's that in-person relationship that builds the trust and kind of guarantees that you get that customer for life, or essentially the client gets their realtor for life. So
Right.
I'm huge on the in-person meeting, because I know as soon as I meet somebody in person, I can show up with all the right information, show up professionally, build up that high level of trust, and ultimately lock that customer in. Because clients and prospects and customers, there's thousands of real estate agents in Jacksonville, Florida, let alone all the
Oh,
other
yeah.
cities throughout the United States. Clients have their choice of realtors. You can go on Zillow and find an agent right away. You can go onto pretty much any website like Redfin or Realtor.com.
Someone's throwing a realtor in your face.
Right. And you're getting a realtor thrown in your face. So ultimately, for me, I want to get to meet them in person as quick as possible, just to build that trust, let them know they're working with a genuine person. And, another thing I do to really win customers over once I'm in front of them is I don't try to sell them the first house that we see. I always try to show them a second, a third house, so that they see what all their options are. And ultimately, they feel like they're working with a professional, not a used car salesman.
Right. 100%. Providing options for them so they can make that best decision for them and their family.
100%.
Yeah. So recap real quick. The referrals are coming in, right?
Yep.
They're automatically going in your Agent Dash. And for those who don't know what Agent Dash is kind of a mini CRM. It's an app on our phone, and we can access it through our website browser as well. It's from Veterans United. Veterans United provides that free of charge, which is awesome. So what we're using is actually Follow Up Boss, and also obviously the MLS and that as well. So when we're getting that referral coming in, we have it coming in automatically into Follow Up Boss. We have set automations that go out introducing our agents to that specific client via text message automation and email automation. We want to ensure that we're touching these clients as much as possible without being overbearing to them right away. And Bobby, you made an excellent point. If we're not getting in front of those clients right away, speed to lead, as Barbie Wolf says all the time, she's our executive director, they're going on Zillow.
Somebody else will.
They're going on
Yep.
Realtor.com. They're jumping on there and clicking home tour on this property because we're not following up. There's tons of those sites getting their information, trying to get them connected to an agent. We want to ensure we are the first people to make sure we're contacting those clients and providing the best service for them.
Yeah, you have to get to the client very fast, because ultimately, if someone wants to buy a house and they're excited to, there's plenty of other realtors that are out there. I think the automation stuff that you talked about on Follow Up Boss is very solid. I know we were in the office this week, and
Yeah.
you were going through the different automations that you're running, as well as the post-closing campaign, such as
two
Right.
reviews in the same day, man.
Correct. I think that type of automation is very important, just to have working in the background. Essentially, you having an extra set of hands working for you in the background.
Virtual AI assistant back there.
Virtual AI assistant in the background working right
Right.
there. So I completely agree on that. I think the speed to the lead is important. I mean, I know anytime I get a lead, I'm immediately going to work on it right there.
Right.
You gotta strike while the iron's hot. 100%.
Yep, couldn't agree more. So yeah, and jumping in the automation stuff right now, what we're working on right now, I love it. With we have the Follow Up Boss, which is our CRM, Zapier. We're getting Mail Parser now, so we're getting all these things connected to provide more automations through AI to better build out platforms to give that relief to the agents to provide the agents more time to get in front of those clients out in the field, where a lot of the agents do. A lot of the agents want to be out in the field meeting those clients more, kind of have that back office work automated so we have more time with clients.
Right. And it's a little tough and difficult to set up at first and get it working, but
Oh, yeah.
ultimately like the MLS
Going through growing pains for sure.
right. And you look at like the MLS, I think both of us have become experts at utilizing the MLS and everything that essentially that CRM there has to offer. But now that's like riding a bike. So now as we move through Follow-Up Boss and we start working on the different automations and AI it has to offer, ideally the goal is to make that become just like riding a bike, and now essentially really just maneuvering super well to what you're saying with, that AI agent operating in the background for us.
Right. So if you could give me your favorite thing right now, favorite feature with Follow-Up Boss. Let's start with Follow-Up Boss. What's your favorite feature of Follow-Up Boss, Bobby?
I think if I was going to pick a favorite feature there, it's the ability to do mass email marketing. Listings are tough right now in Florida, not necessarily all over the country, but Jacksonville has 10,000 houses on the market. So my ability to promote a listing through Follow-Up Boss is something I like a lot. I do think, the automated text messages that go out right away or emails go out right away, either or are definitely important. And the ability to make those templates personable and
Right.
simple is something that I think is really a great benefit to have.
And that's something we got to work on too.
Right.
I know we got to get in there, make it more personal. And some of the referrals that we're getting, to jump on that, we have, obviously, like I said, from Veterans United, but we have VA referrals, people that are using their VA loan, people are using their USDA loan, FHA, conventional. So right now we're using Mail Parser to get all of the automation texts and emails personalized to be sent out to individual clients, which is going to be really cool.
Absolutely.
So if you're working with a VA client, a lot of us are all VA specialized agents. We're, highly in the VA loan process. We know a lot about the VA loan. That's kind of our specialty.
Yep.
So when a client comes in, we're not saying, hey, we work with USDA. That message is personalized to be sent saying that we're VA specialized agent, which is awesome.
Right.
So Mail Parser with Zapier is giving us the capability to have different action plans inside of Follow-Up Boss and automations that are specifically geared towards USDA. So we're not cross-sending a USDA person some VA stuff. So
Right.
there's a lot of ins and outs to building this out. But I love working through this stuff. I'm having fun doing it, always learning something new, really enjoying all these automations. And for myself, I understand the biggest picture. Like I said, alleviate some of that back office work for the agents.
Right.
And get them actually out in the field.
Absolutely. Where ultimately deals happen.
Right. 100%. Any other thing else you want to share, Bobby?
No, I just think, talking through the leads that we get and the way we work them through our CRMs is awesome. I think in addition to that, it's also just as cool that we can then, with our self-gen people, work them through our CRMs as well too. So, I think just our ability to really do an excellent job in these CRMs is going to be a great benefit to us and also to our customers down the line as well.
Right. Yeah. And just quick example, and say you're working with other agents around the country and things like this, and you're getting referrals, and those referrals are important. That other agent's expecting to get that referral fee. So
Right.
they're expecting you to do everything of your ability to actually get that going. So when I say, hey, what are you doing? You just got a referral from another agent. I'm immediately getting them set up in Follow-Up Boss. I'm getting them set up on an MLS search. They haven't contacted me in a couple days or even a week. They have an estimated loan amount or even maybe a pre-approval. I'm ensuring that I have them set up on all my searches, getting them information, sending them a text message every day, texting them properties. I see they saved a property. I'm getting them as much content as I can without being, overloading them.
Right.
But I want to be the person that gets that client, that's following through. Until they say, hey, don't contact me anymore.
Right.
I'll leave you alone.
Correct. Yeah. I think it's if you kind of once you learn to really trust your instincts in communication, it's easy to know when you're providing just the right amount of content and information versus being overbearing and being way too over communicating. So yeah, I mean, you're 100% right. You got to know where ultimately that like dichotomy lies. But when you trust yourself and you partner with other people to figure that out, it's not difficult to understand. But it also is very important though to understand that fine balance there.
Right. Yep. 100%. Well, Bobby, great being on the podcast again. We got to get in here more often, man.
Yeah, we absolutely do.
Yeah.
I think another one this upcoming week or the following week would be great.
Yeah, get this momentum going. We love talking to you guys too, talking about Atrium. We love it here. You guys click the link below if you guys can subscribe. We're gonna start getting out more content. We're gonna work on trying to get here every week, get some content for you guys. If there's anything that you guys want to see, or if you're an agent watching, give us a call. Let us know what you're doing. We'd love to, learn, be collaborative with the industry. And if any homeowners are watching or clients are watching and looking to get into real estate, give us a call. We love to have a consultation with you. We do a bunch of other things too. Until next time, we'll see you on the Atrium podcast. Thank you.
Talk soon.
Talk soon.